Did you know that there's a crucial part of our history that most people overlook when it comes to Te Tiriti or Waitangi? Te Wakaminenga. The Confederation played a huge part in shaping Te Tiriti or Waitangi. But unless you understand their story, Te Tiriti doesn't make much sense. Without this context, you won't be able to engage in depth with the debates around the treaty principles and Māori sovereignty. So, are you ready to find out how the Confederation, Te Wakaminenga, shaped Te Tiriti or Waitangi? Kia ora e hoa ma, I'm Kiri Prentice. Welcome back to this Āhei series brought to you by Māori Minds. Be sure to watch the Āhei series introduction and the foundational videos, what makes a good wānanga and what is the right tikanga for your wānanga. Remember, you can find links to a downloadable worksheet in the video description, or you can check out MaoriMinds.com. Let's get ready to wānanga. What's coming up? Te Wakaminenga, Te Wakaminenga and Statecraft. Māori authority and sovereignty, recognition in Te Tiriti and the treaty, and then we'll summarise and go over how Te Wakaminenga shaped Te Tiriti, before going over our Wānanga Prompts. Te Wakaminenga. Te Wakaminenga o ngā Hapū o Nu Tīreni, commonly translated as the Confederation of Tribes, is more accurately a confederation of subtribes. Formed in 1834, it is a confederation or collective of rangatira chiefs representing their Hapū subtribes. He Whakaputanga, the Māori Declaration of Independence, granted Te Wakaminenga the authority to govern their lands and people, affirming Māori sovereignty. And King William IV recognised He Whakaputanga in 1836. Te Wakaminenga and Statecraft. In pre-colonial Māori society, Hapū were sovereign independent entities, and the concept of a whakaminenga, a great confederation, already existed. However, the concept of statehood, as understood by Westerners, was foreign to Māori. Rangatira requested King William IV act as a protector or a matua due to their own inexperience in matters of statecraft. This reflected their recognition of the king's expertise in this idea of the state and statecraft, while still affirming their own sovereignty. Here's what Article 4 of He Whakaputanga said. We ask the king to remain as a protector for us in our experienced statehood, lest our authority and leadership be ended. Māori authority and sovereignty. The Te Reo Māori version of the declaration, signed by Māori rangatira, asserted their independence, chiefly authority and leadership, their sovereignty or kingship, and their mana, their authority, power and control. That fully resided with Māori. Remember, the English version of He Whakaputanga was never signed. It stated that no other group could write or create laws or to govern their lands or their people. Article 1 said, "We, the absolute leaders of the tribes of New Zealand, declare the authority and leadership of our country and say and declare them to be prosperous economy and chiefly country under the title of the Sacred Confederation of the Tribes of New Zealand." In Article 2, the sovereignty or kingship, the kīngitanga, and the mana from the land of the Confederation of New Zealand are here declared to belong solely to the true leaders of our gathering. And we also declare that we will not allow any other groups to frame laws, whakarite ture, nor any governorship, kāwanatanga, to be established in the lands of the Confederation unless appointed by us to carry out the laws we have enacted in our assembly. Recognition of Te Wakaminenga in Te Tiriti and the treaty. In Te Tiriti or Waitangi, Article 1 refers to the chiefs of the Confederation and the separate and independent chiefs, stating that they give their kāwanatanga governance over their lands to the Queen of England. In contrast, in the Treaty of Waitangi English text, it refers to the chiefs of the Confederation of the United Tribes of New Zealand and independent chiefs, stating that they cede sovereignty to the Queen. This distinction between governance and sovereignty in the treaty has been central to the debates regarding Māori rights, authority and sovereignty. You can learn more about He Whakaputanga, Te Tiriti and pre-colonial Māori society in some other Māori Minds videos. So let's go over that answer. Te Wakaminenga, or the Confederation, played a foundational role in shaping Te Tiriti. Established in 1834, Te Wakaminenga asserted their Rangatiratanga, their authority and independence, their kīngitanga, their sovereignty and kingship, and their mana, their power, control and authority, as well as their right to create laws and to govern, to whakarite ture and kāwanatanga, as outlined in He Whakaputanga, the Declaration. King William IV formally recognised that declaration in 1836, and that was an acknowledgement of Māori, in particular Te Wakaminenga, as sovereign entities. When Queen Victoria entered into Te Treaty of Waitangi and the Treaty of Waitangi in 1840, it was with full recognition that Te Wakaminenga was a sovereign party. Te Wakaminenga was not some passive recipient of the treaty or Te Tiriti, but an active participant. Remember, both the versions of the treaty and Te Tiriti specifically mention or reference Te Wakaminenga, the Confederation. In Te Tiriti, Te Wakaminenga and the independent rangatira granted the crown or the queen kāwanatanga, and in the treaty, the Confederation and the independent chiefs ceded their sovereignty. And that's the distinction that is crucial in understanding debates around Māori independence, sovereignty and treaty principles. Māori, particularly the rangatira that were part of Te Wakaminenga, understood Te Tiriti through their concepts and understanding from He Whakaputanga. And that clearly defined the differences between kāwanatanga, governance, and kīngitanga, kingship and mana. Te Tiriti for Māori was about allowing the crown to govern its own people, the settlers, while preserving their own tino rangatiratanga. Note that Māori did not cede their tino rangatiratanga or kīngitanga or mana in Te Tiriti. The recognition of Te Wakaminenga in He Whakaputanga, Te Tiriti of Waitangi and the Treaty of Waitangi highlights that Māori were engaging in the relationship with the Crown as distinct sovereign entities, shaping the terms of that relationship. So this context is crucial to understanding discussions about Māori sovereignty today. Wānanga Prompts. Now here are 3 Wānanga Prompts for you to consider. After I go through them in the video, pause the video or look at the printable worksheet and decide as a group which one you want to cover today in your wānanga. Wānanga Prompt 1, Political Contrast. How does the political autonomy asserted by Te Wakaminenga and He Whakaputanga back in 1835 contrast with Māori political authority and sovereignty in Aotearoa, New Zealand today? Wānanga Prompt 2, Hapū and Rangatira. What can Te Wakaminenga teach us today about the importance of hapū and rangatira in shaping Māori political structures and decision-making? Wānanga Prompt 3, Sovereignty. How did the understanding of kāwanatanga, kīngitanga, rangatiratanga and mana in He Whakaputanga influence Māori expectations in Te Tiriti o Waitangi? And how can we apply these concepts to discussions about Māori sovereignty today? All the best for your wānanga and see you next time. Ka kite.